Esports Club. I am captain of the Valorant Green team. I am a second semester sophomore at Farmingdale State College, and I'm 19 years old.
Okay. Do you like Farmingdale so far?
Yeah, it's really great. The program I'm in is very specialized, and it's not offered that often in the East Coast, so it's pretty nice. I enjoy it.
And what's your major?
My major is aerospace professional pilot degree.
Oh, wow. That's really cool.
Thank you.
So, is this your first time on an esports team?
No, so I've been a part of the Valorant team for 2 semesters, and this is my third semester, and it's my first time ever being a captain.
Okay. Oh, that's awesome. Can you tell me a little bit about what it's like being a captain?
So a lot of times I'm organizing the team, making sure everyone is properly set for upcoming games, um, getting scrims for our team, and kind of just making sure everyone is there, present, and possible, and able to play the games that we're gonna, you know, be participating in. We're participating in 2 leagues this semester, so it's kind of hectic.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, definitely. I can see that. How is it different for you as a player versus as a captain? Do you feel a lot of responsibility?
I basically have the responsibility of choosing who, really plays, what type of characters everyone's playing, and what positions and roles we are all doing, as well as being there not only as a team member, but also being seen as in a leadership role and having that sort of respect there, and being able to delegate everyone's role in the team. So it's definitely a lot more different, and my voice is most definitely heard. So I like it. I like being a captain.
Yeah, that's really good. What games do you play, or what is your main game? I know you mentioned Valorant.
Right. So I play Valorant, but I started off with Counter-Strike, and I really always have been interested in FPSs. So that background has always been there. So my transfer onto Valorant was pretty easy.
That's cool. What have you done to improve yourself in game over time?
So one thing for my teams especially, I have open communication where we're able to really give our constructive criticism without taking offense. And me as a captain, especially it being my first semester, I find it really important that everyone is able to come to me and communicate like, "Hey, Kate, I don't know how I feel about doing this," or "I want my voice to be heard about this specific thing." And just basically taking into consideration everyone's voice and having that open line of communication is really helpful, and that's something I find really important.
Okay. Do you carry that strategy into your everyday life as well, would you say?
Yeah, communication is really important to me, especially in aviation with crew members. You're always trying to communicate properly and efficiently to get the assigned goal completed, and that works in video games as well as in aviation. So I feel like it transfers very well, and I put my 100% effort in everything I do. I put 100% in the team, the leagues that we're participating in, communicating with opposing teams that we might be going against. All those things, I take it really important and can transfer very well into everyday life.
Can you tell me a little bit about what you think about CECC and just competing in general?
It's a lot of fun, and we're so grateful for the opportunity to participate. And this is something that every single member of our team has said. We've never had the opportunity to really compete in a fashion where it's not only fun, we're able to make friends, talk to other people from different schools. It's just an amazing opportunity and something we would love to participate in the future as well.
Yeah, we're really happy you feel that way. When your team is competing with other teams, are there any specific teams or schools that your team kind of looks out for?
I think we all have the mentality of it doesn't matter who the other team is. We're gonna put 100% effort, and we're going to maintain our mental, even if the other team is full of radiance. It's not something we're gonna keep in mind because we will be able to beat them. Fingers crossed.
Definitely. Yeah, that's a really good mindset. As you probably know, March is Women's History Month, and you being a woman in esports, how do you think that has an effect on esports? What does it mean to you to be a woman in esports and as a captain? Just could you talk about that for a little bit?
Coming into being a woman in aviation, which is already really a niche type of thing, especially with women in video games, things like that. It's just we're kind of the minority, and keeping that in mind, a lot of times you have to represent yourself properly because you are representing such a small community. So I feel proud and honored to be a part of the women's in aviation as well as being a woman in sports esports, and it's a lot of fun. And just understanding that.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in once again to Esports U. My name is Visionary One. Alongside me, of course, Rudy Ronaldo. Rudy, how are you feeling tonight, man?
Doing okay. I'm actually really excited to get into this. I see we got some good matchup going on, and we have some decent maps as well, so I'm ready to get into it.
I'm always excited for that. Of course, tonight's action is going to be Army West Point Valorant Gold versus Stevenson's Valorant team. So we're going to see kind of a battle that might be a little bit lopsided by the standings, but the standings at the beginning of the season don't really tell the whole story. Stevenson right now is 2-0. Army West Point, unfortunately, 0-2, so they're looking to change their fortunes tonight. Very interesting to see how this really ends up playing out, because we have a producer in the background that only casts map threes. So we're going to see how that ends up going. Of course, I'm going to go ahead and just say we're probably going to see it. But speaking of maps, we need to go ahead and cut over to the selection of the three we're going to be seeing tonight. And Rudy, I'll let you take that away.
Yeah, so we got some good maps coming up. For the first one, we got Ascent with Stevenson is going to be defending that one. Haven, Army West Point is going to be defending that one. And the third one is a Fracture, which I'm really excited to see that one, considering the new changes that have just come through for them. Personally, I am a fan of them, as Fracture was a little hard, a little controversial when it first came out. A lot of people were not looking too hot for that map, but the changes are definitely going to bring some smiles to some people's faces. And it says side TBD, which maybe some of you are asking, how is that possible? It's going to be the side that has more round wins is going to be the side to choose for that. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. And hopefully we don't go back and forth on ties, because from what I've heard, there's some bit of a curse here, but I hope we don't get that far.
Yeah, imagine having a producer curse, right? It couldn't be me. It definitely couldn't be me.
No.
I just caster curse rounds. I don't curse whole matches to go all three maps. But you mentioned the Fracture changes, of course, and I think that's pretty darn important, of course. Just seeing that, because it was very offense heavy, right? Like basically on defense, you had to play offense. You had to be aggressive so you could take that map control, because A site was almost impossible to retake once it was locked down. So the new changes opening up, especially that rafters along by rope, is definitely a very key integral point to look for if we get to that map. But speaking of that, of course, we're starting on Ascent, like you said, Rudy. We're going to be seeing, of course, the agent picks as well. And this is going to be interesting, because we were talking about this in the pre-show. Flash changes are going to make something quite different here.
Yeah, there's no more pop flashes, as, things have been mentioned previously, but there's always counters to that. I think we're still going to see some players coming out with the flashes. We do have an Omen lock already out of Poisonous Tart. I'm excited as an Omen player myself. I get to see my true player come through in this map, which I love Omen on this map, because you get to actually get that entirety map coverage with Omen. With Brimstone, it's kind of hard to lock down both sites. You're really restricted to that mid area. Where Omen, you could kind of play one side more to the other. You could play Market, you could play into Tree, and you could still smoke to the necessary spots that you need to. His flash is very, very useful, as it can go through the walls. You can flash through Market into the lane area on B. You can flash through Tree all the way onto site. So I think that's a really good choice out for both teams here. We got another thing coming through. We got KO. I'm not seeing any Sky, but I am seeing an Yoru coming out from Stevenson.
I'm not surprised by it, to be completely honest with you, as the Yoru unfortunately goes away just a little bit and we see that jet lock. Killjoy being ran as both Sentinels here. So obviously this is one of the most op heavy maps. You think of Wardell, especially in early Valorant, and him on even Sage opping on this map, just because the angles, especially in mid, are so long and so easy to see. And it just comes down to people are finding more and more utility out of Killjoy as far as locking down a site than they are out of that chamber being aggressive in that mid spot. So it's going to be very interesting to see with both these teams choosing that, opting not to go for the chamber. Of course, Jet, one of the primary operators before chamber was even brought into the meta to begin with, or was even an agent or a concept, with that get out of jail free card, with that dash being brought alongside one of these teams here. Honestly, I don't mind the comps on either side. It's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Of course, both of them running the Killjoy, especially when you're starting on offense. On Ascent, it's kind of tough sledding, because we know this is a defender-sided map. So it's going to be interesting to see how they utilize that Killjoy, and if it's just going to be a very strong lurk coming out from the Killjoy with maybe a supportive turret in mid just to kind of cover some angles.
Yeah, you touch on that Killjoy turret, and I think Killjoy turret's a really good aspect for attacking, because it can clear those angles that need be. If you want to get some early coverage, you place that turret down in middle, and it gets anyone spotting through the mid doors. And I really like Killjoy's setup utility for both defense and attack, because defense, you can really lock down whatever site you're going to. You have so many different spots you could put that Killjoy turret in, so many spots you could put that alarm bot in. As we see, it's going through to mid. But as we get started into the first round, it looks like it's going to be a default on the attacking side.
Not really surprised by the default at all, to be completely honest with you. This is a scent. You don't want to just 5-stack mid and go for it like I do in ranked every time. You kind of want to get a feel for your opponent and how they're going to play. So we're going to see some lurking up, of course, towards tree with that smoke covering them, as well as Omen might come out and challenge that. There's Swish'em getting one early on A main, and the trade coming out from Velocity into tree. The spam from Neon here, not playing Neon, sadly. That would have been great to see. Trying to get those wall bangs through B main as this default comes out. Once again, we have the spike actually on B, but the only space that's been opened up has been A side. Of course, it looks like we're going to see a mid hit coming off of that.
Yeah, and I really think that this Killjoy playing off of this alarm bot, kind of jiggling mid to try and get any info, and as we saw that Fade Dog and taps come through, not going to connect any shots, however, but as we see the KO on A side doesn't have that much health to work with and just has a Sova to help him out in tree, and here comes the final push with 35 seconds looking through, not going to have any more rotates, and the Omen blind is going to get the teammates coming through that KO flash. How big is the impact going to be? Not too much, as it will strongly push through the site, and that spike will be planted. Coming through, Neon going to find one, but Velocity will get the trade. 3 versus 2 on the retake in the side of Stevenson.
And the trades have been solid so far. Splash is actually going to get one from Heaven, and Fast is going to come through. The retake is strong, and I think the key here is Stevenson had the KO lurking basically just A entrance, and he never got cleared out of that spot. So not only do you have to clear, the